Top of the Premier League and top of the Champions League. Liverpool beat Real Madrid 2-0 at Anfield. KlintonCod, our Madrid fan.
Historia, Historia Poraria. I feel really upset, but then again, I want to be very
Hearing
sincere.
that makes me more upset.
Yeah.
You butchered that, man.
Now, listen, fact is, Real Madrid, if they had won this game, I would have been very surprised, can't lie, because obviously they are playing against the best team in the Premier League currently, and I mean, Liverpool, they've not even had the best. Their forward, Musala was very quiet.
Luis
Diaz, they were quiet.
Not
but then
good.
again, this quiet Liverpool tend to, they dominated the game somehow. And it's to tell you how bad Real Madrid have become. I understand, obviously, they have key players. This is the one game I wish Vinicius was playing, honestly, because I feel like he's that one player who will not be scared of anything. Like, take on these defenders, get the ball into the 18-yard box. We only saw Mbappe do it only once. That one time where, that's the only time I felt like, okay, this is what I expect you to do, the whole of this game. But he only did it once. Like, Real Madrid, it's so bad. Like, I don't know, whatever is happening to Manchester City, that evil spirit that I think is a kind of like going around this really two best teams that we would have thought would be carrying the world of football for the next couple of seasons. Like last year, it was obviously Manchester City, Real Madrid, and this year is the both of them. They're almost like the shadow of themselves. What is going on? Mm-hmm. I mean, if Real Madrid had won this game, I know I'm putting on the jersey, but I would have been surprised, and I would have been happy because it would have been a miracle. But
Alex, like Clinton kind of said, we saw not the best performance from Liverpool. We saw not a lot of Luis Diaz. Mo Salah missed the penalty and also wasn't great on that wing. Darwin Núñez had opportunities, missed them, but they still won. And they didn't just win, but they played Madrid off the park. They were the better team throughout the entire game. What is the biggest takeaway here for Madrid? What's the biggest concern?
I think they'll look at this game and they'll take some positives. I think there were things to look at that, and I thought Brahim played very well, got in the right areas, perhaps didn't get the service that he would have wanted. Would have liked to see more from Arne. I think when he was on the ball, I think he was a little bit too, I think he could have gone, I feel like he could have been a bit more expressive and got further forward. I think, Bellingham was the workhorse in that midfield. It was a shame about Camavinga going off. I think that, hopefully he's not out for too long, because given the injury problems that Real Madrid have at the moment, that could be quite a big issue. I think when you look at the defence, all in all, I think Rudiger played well. Mendy played well up until the penalty incident, but I think that's just Salah, is a brilliant player. He's going to take on anyone. He'd do that to most left-backs. I think it would have been a learning curve for Asensio today. I think he did well in parts, but perhaps the experience that he will get from this could be used to improve. And I think the big takeaway, to be honest, for me, is a number 9 for Real Madrid. I think just the presence in the box and just perhaps a bit more presence in the midfield, I think, are the two big takeaways from tonight.
Clinton, something you talk about frequently is when Madrid go up against bigger teams, they can't perform. We saw they drew at Leti, and this was the kind of start of this trend. They got smashed by Barcelona, they got smashed by Milan, and then they lost to Liverpool. It was only 2-0, but they were outplayed. So far this season, every time they've played a team of a certain stature, they haven't been able to perform.
I mean, fact is, and I said it during the show earlier, I said, Real Madrid, they play little teams like, say, Leganés and, Real Valladolid and all these places, and they win. And everybody tends to feel like, oh, yeah, you guys have arrived. You guys are very good. You're winning, you're scoring goals. But, when we've seen Madrid face big teams, teams that can actually play football, teams that are good, when it comes to football, you see how bad the Real Madrid have become. It kind of like opens up that trash that it seems to be hiding. And fact is, all this while, I've always felt like, is that whole confusion going on between Vinicius and Mbappe, them trying to find, some way to make all of these star boys work in just within that one team. And that how would I say it? You know, that challenge, yeah, of them trying to make them work is now what is affecting them playing real football against real teams, you know, and it's going to continue like that until they sort out this arrangement between these four. Now, this Liverpool game that we've just watched, fact is, I feel like this is where they needed Vinicius, and he wasn't there. Now, question is, if Vinicius was there, what would have been the arrangement? Would they have been Mbappe playing from the middle again, or you know, would they have been then having to switch? Which is one of the problems I think they're having to go through, because sometimes when you watch them, you see them going around, but I don't think that's what will work for this Real Madrid. What worked for Real Madrid is what we've seen with Real Madrid before, where everybody knows, you know, the areas where they should be occupying. You know, instead of everybody just trying to run around different places. And sometimes you see Vinicius there, you see him in the middle. And one thing I've noticed is Vinicius is not the best person to play in the middle, right? So all this confusion is what these big teams are using, you know, against them. That confusion going on, they are banking on it. And you will see that the forwards, why are the goals not coming on? They are putting pressure on the defense, and they are having to now make players who are supposed to be offensive now trying to be both defensive and offensive at the same time. Do you see it? So they will continue suffering this so long as they face good teams. They would obviously get away with this with, you know, the usual little teams in Madrid. In the La Liga, right? You know, they will get away because when you go watch all these other small teams, you see that they are far worse than even the worst. Like, you know, they are still below Madrid's worst, if that makes sense. So Madrid will always come first, you know, between the two worsts. But face a good team, they are going nowhere.
Alex Mbappe finally returned to his left flank with no Vinny, and it was not good, to say the least. You were suggesting that maybe Mbappe would be playing through the center and it would be Brahim on that left flank, but it seemed like there was something not clicking up front for Mbappe and Brahim and Arda Güler and Endrick at one point.
Yeah, I think when you look at the performances, you know, there were glimpses of good performance. There were glimpses of good things to come, and I think, yeah, Mbappe, yes, his preferred position is on the left. I think tonight I would have liked to see him more in a central role, you know, talking about that lack of a number 9, just to have a bit more presence in front of the likes of Van Dijk and Konate, because they can eat strikers up quite easily. They're you know, two of the best defenders in the world, and I think when you look at Mbappe towards the end of the second half, I think he slowly started to get into a rhythm of, you know, pressuring that right back position. Conor Bradley was, you know, put to the test. I think Conor Bradley did really well, performed, you know, was probably one of Liverpool's best players. I just would like to see a little bit more fearlessness from Mbappe, and I can understand perhaps when you don't feel as confident taking on players is, you know, you don't want to risk it and then lose the ball. But I think, you know, I want to see him taking on players. Clinton and I were saying that one chance where they had, where I can't remember the chance, but it was the one that led to the penalty, where he took a player on and then crossed the ball.
Oh yes. So
you know, chances of that, it creates danger. You know, it puts defenders on the back foot. So definitely glimpses of positives to take from that, and Ancelotti will come away from this and look at the things that they've done well, and I think use that to improve. But definitely something for Mbappe to think about himself in terms of, you know, as a confidence issue, you know, where does he feel most comfortable playing? And I think the injuries obviously don't help for Real Madrid, you know, playing with a sort of makeshift front three as well. So, yeah, positives to take, but definitely lots of things to work on for Real Madrid and Mbappe.
Before we go, Conor Bradley, absolutely the man of the match for Liverpool, 21-year-old youngster. From that initial first tackle on Mbappe, he was involved in everything. He showed no fear. This is the kind of football I want to see. Yep. You 100% going for it, leaving it out all on the pitch. Brilliant. Best player on the pitch, I think.
I think he was
maybe besides Courtois and Kelleher, because both of them did really well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, no, he was definitely the best player on the pitch. McAllister would have probably said if he had scored the second chance, maybe he would have then had.
The first goal was brilliant, though.
The first goal, you know, was definitely brilliant, and he had that other opportunity, which I felt like he should have buried. Like a McAllister should be burying that one. It didn't come in. If not, I would have said, right, okay, you scoring 2 goals against Real Madrid, you know, in Anfield, you definitely have to have it. But Bradley, he was just phenomenal. Like, I felt like he was that kid who wants to show people who he is. Like, you know, I'm not just some random little boy that I've been put on some, you know, right back. I'm here to, you know, put my name on that list of one of the greatest upcoming defenders coming on this in this team, and he showed it. My man was not scared. Like, this is Real Madrid you're playing. And he was playing as if he was one of them Liverpool legend. Like, he's played as long as Mo Salah has played in Liverpool. And honestly, I don't know who has been awarded the man of the match, but I think SportyTV, we can tell you for free that our man of the match is Bradley, right?
Yeah. Really impressed with Conor Bradley, and this isn't the first time we've seen him perform so well. He is, at such a young age, showing age, way beyond his years. He's showing the wisdom of a 32-year-old right back, not a 21-year-old. He's got that nous. He's got that know-how of where to position himself. He looks confident on the ball. He looks comfortable defending one-on-one situations. To be honest, I think Liverpool, obviously Trent being injured and not fit is never an ideal situation. They want to rest him for games, and not having him starting, it might worry them at times. But to be honest, having Conor Bradley as a backup, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yep.
Definitely not. All right, guys. Well, Liverpool remain top of the Champions League, remain top of the Premier League, beating champions of Europe, Real Madrid, who dropped down to 24th in the Champions League. We'll be back tomorrow at 7:30 on the Sporty Show to discuss this and all of the Champions League matches this evening in more depth, so stay tuned.
Everywhere.